So the next thing we're gonna do is make our cat. My sample one was an orange cat. I gave you everything to make an orange cat and a black cat. So we're gonna do the step-by-step making the black cat. So let's just put this guy right here. So you've got 2 pieces of paper and you need to fold them accordion style. Now I know that this can get confusing. So what you're gonna do is just fold one flap about an inch. It doesn't really matter how big it is. And then you fold it forward, crease it nice and good, and then you fold it backwards and crease it. And then forward and crease it. You want to crease it really well every single time. It's construction paper, so it's a little bit thicker, so yeah, you got to go over it several times. Until you get to the bottom. And then, again, crease it really, really well. And then once you get one done, you're going to fold it in half and crease that really well. And then you're going to glue these 2 together. Now, in the bag that came with all your paper, your orange, black, yellow, whites, and pinks, there are 4 paper clips. And you're gonna want those paper clips to hold it closed because it's heavy paper and it just pulls too much. So just glue on both. Glue it together, get that paper clip, and just hold it like that, maybe more towards the middle, and then just put it aside and do your next one. Oops. Remember, the most important with this is to creasing it really well in between each one. Otherwise, at the end, you're going to kind of have struggle with it because it's thick and it's too hard to crease it when it's that thick. Okay, this one, my folds are a little wider than before, but I think it'll be fine. So you're gonna do the same thing for this. Fold it in half. Make sure it's creased really well. You're gonna glue the ends together. Get a paper clip. Squish it together. Make sure that glue is on there before you just paper clip it up. There you go. Now, while I would let this dry for a minute or 2, really just to set, because then we have to glue it together. But while you're doing that, you also will have a piece of yellow, this color, but it'll be bigger than this, and black. So go ahead and cut out your eyes. And you should have pink in there too for the nose. So I just folded the yellow paper in half, just so my eyes are the same, and I just cut. Now again, on your paper, which is bigger than this, if you want to draw it out first, go ahead and do that. But I usually just cut it really big, you know, kind of the shape that I want. And then if it's too big, it's easier to cut down. But they're exactly the same. So it's important to do that fold so that you do get the same ones. And then you have a little piece of black, and that's just to do that center. So I would cut 2 kind of really skinny diamond shaped, and then measure them up to, so if this was really my eye, even though it's small, I would put it in there and then, you know, cut it down. And then glue that on and do the same with the other one. And then by the time you get that done and your nose cut out as well, which I just did like a little pyramid kind of thing, while that's happening, then the others is drying. So then you're going to take your 2 pieces that have been drying, you're going to glue them together, Get those other 2 paper clips. So same thing. Do one side at a time too. So put this together. Make sure it's on there really well. And put that paper clip in the middle. And do this other side. Same thing. It's easier to do it laying flat so that way you know you're not going to drop it. Put the paper clip right in the middle. And then I would let that dry for about an hour or 2 before you go any further. So, voila, hour or 2 later, and then it looks like this, which this is really cool because, you know, there's so many things we can do with this. We can make big flowers with it, cats, you could do dogs, any kind of animal, you know, that has a round face. So this was a really good choice this month to do this because I'm very excited to get big things with it. So lay it flat. I've got my eyes. Decide where you want your eyes on there. And just play with them, lay them around there. And then, because it's not a flat surface, it's bumpy, you've got to just kind of go along, and it's okay to, if it falls down in, you're just going to put it in the area where the eyes were. Because it's paper on paper, once it adheres, it's not going anywhere. You would have to rip it off, okay? So it's fine if it doesn't, you know, it only gets glue on the strips. That's completely okay. You also have these 3 strips. These are the whiskers. And so what I did was just put a little ball of glue right in the middle kind of thing. My eyes, I did these eyes a little bit lower than I normally would have. So then these are going to go under there. Going over my eyes. So I might have to move my eyes back. They've got glue on them, so they're going to be fine. But let's figure out our whiskers here. Well, they're not being very cooperative. So straight across. Start with that one. Then, oh, that's why. What I did was then I folded this just like a little clink, so it's kind of like a teepee. Maybe put a little more glue on there. Oh, come on. So make my teepee a little wider. And then our last one. I think was just about out here. The last one I actually cut because I couldn't get it to fold correctly. And we want it in the right spot. And then on top of all of that, you're gonna put a nice, in the middle of your whiskers, nice big thing of glue, and his nose. Make sure the whiskers aren't going above his nose because that looks a little silly. Well, and then let that dry, and while that's drying, you should have gotten a piece of black and for the orange, and again, cut it in half or fold it in half, whichever you like, for his ears. And always do the 2 pieces so that they match. So even if they're too small or too big, at least they're both too big or too small. I just do a little triangular shape. It's got to be a little rounded though because they're cat ears. So that's good enough for me. Fold it in half so it kind of has that crease. And then decide where we're going to put it. I did wait until mine had dried a little bit just because it's not a flat surface, so any slight move and it'll, you know, fall apart. So, but for the purposes of showing you how to do it, so here's our guy. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue, a line on the bottom here of my ears. And then I did it on the fold that was in. So because I did a little fold already, it kind of would just stick right in there. And I was able to squeeze it and hold it too. So it's got, well, not long enough. So hold it, count to 30. 30 is the magic number when we're doing this kind of stuff. And then do the other side the same way. And then like everything else this month, let it dry. Just let it dry, and once it's all dried, everything is able to be hung up. It's super fun. There we go. It's gonna fall down, so whoops. Yeah, but you guys are gonna let yours dry longer, so you'll be able to really pick it up. But so here's our black cat. Again, his ear's gonna fall off, but okay. So our last thing we have to do is our skeleton. So go ahead, get that pack. That one takes a while. It's a lot of cutting. So Mrs. Rubner's only going to show you part of it because it's so much cutting. So get your packet and we'll get started.